In the beginning, learning to save money and avoiding certain purchases can drastically increase your net worth. A couple of videos ago, we saw how having $100,000 invested in the stock market can easily turn into $1 million without any real effort and just by letting the magic of compound interest do its thing over 23 years. By avoiding spending money on these things I'm going to go over in this video, you are on a much quicker path to becoming a millionaire and a much easier path. So here are simple things you should avoid spending money on until you reach your point in your investment journey where you can let off the gas just a little. But as usual, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Knowledge.
All right, so number one is memberships you never use. Everything nowadays is a freaking membership. YouTube Premium, Amazon Prime, your gym, Spotify, your OnlyFans accounts. It's countless. Everything has switched to a membership fee because you can make way more money charging a membership fee instead of a one-time payment. This model is way more profitable for companies instead of just buying something once and being done. So it's time to examine what memberships are you paying for that you don't use anymore. Have you touched your Spotify in the past month? I wasn't, which is why I finally canceled my subscription, freeing up like $11 per month. Adds up over the year, that's over $100. But what about your big subscriptions? I had this YouTuber Academy I was paying like $500 a year for, and I barely touched it. I canceled that just right before I made this video. Suddenly now I have like over $600 a year back in my pocket that I can gamble on crypto with. Or if you want to be more smart, put it in your Roth IRA, whatever. But regardless, that's $600 per year by canceling 2 memberships I don't use. Think about it. What aren't you using? If you haven't touched that subscription in a month, just get rid of it. Get rid of it. You don't need it. It's just sucking your money away. So make a list of what subscriptions you can get rid of. Number 2 is fast food. Why are you eating garbage food? How old are you? It's bad for you. Probably gives you cancer. Makes you fat. And it's not even that cheap anymore. A real meal is like $10 to $12 now. It's not like $7 anymore. I'm not saying never eat out. I think a meal out is good for the soul, with family, with friends. It's all nice. But eating crappy food alone that also ruins your health, it's not good for anything. So no more fast food. Cut that out of your life. If I'm hungry, I make the intentional choice. Either I'm going to fast and just skip lunch, or I'm going to make sure to pack my lunch before I have a long day. I don't eat fast food anymore. Stop paying organizations to make you sick. It logically makes no sense whatsoever. If you ate out once a week and are spending $15 a meal, you're spending over like $600 a year just to make yourself sick. Nice job. Number 3, and a more controversial one, is rent or your mortgage. Now, I understand not everyone can do this and just stop paying rent like me, but if you're a man like me who doesn't mind living with his mom in the basement, just the studio down here, but really, what's the harm? Why not live with your parents if you have that opportunity? Understand not everyone has this opportunity, this luxury. There are different family types, different situations. You may already have a family and kids. You can't just move in somewhere else. Maybe you didn't even have close family you can move in with. I understand all this. But if you do, what would happen if you got rid of your rent or mortgage? Suddenly, $1,000, $2,000, maybe even $3,000 per month is freed up to put into investing instead every single month. And if you did that only for like a year or two, how much money are you saving? How much of a head start are you getting if you had a real job and then just put that into the stock market instead? You'll be well on your way to a millionaire instead of being broke paying rent and just staying that broke cycle paying rent over and over and over again. So if you have this luxury, consider doing it. Number 4 for me is name brand items. I'm going to tell you something. Your fancy shirts, your bags, your pants, your shoes, it's all a waste. It's a waste of money. Why do you want a logo on you? Why do you want a logo on you? Do you like being branded? Do you like people knowing, hey, I like this brand? The question is always, do these things provide value for your life? I might understand if like you're a sneakerhead and that's one of your hobbies, one of your collectibles. I totally get that if that's kind of your clothes thing. But is that Gucci shirt really providing you more value than a nice shirt from TJ Maxx or some discount store that you spent $10 on? You don't need the latest stuff to look nice, function in society, or even make friends. Stop being a little consumer. If you do feel like you need these things to make friends, I hope you see the light at the end of the tunnel, because you know that's unsustainable deep in your heart. Because that's not the truth. I'm not trying to say don't buy quality things for yourself. That's not the point of this. But does that $50 t-shirt do anything more than the $10 one? Number 5 is skills I can do easily myself. Now, you might not save on time. I understand that. But learning essential skills can save you a lot of money. I know haircuts is not the best example for myself. I used to have hair once, believe it or not. But even beard cuts and trims are quite pricey. What if instead of going to someone, I learned how to do it to myself and like save $50 a month? Yeah, they're that expensive. They're pretty costly. And now I usually have a pretty groomed beard that I can do by myself. Another thing I can do easily is change my car oil. By doing it to yourself, you can buy better oil, decreasing the frequency you have to change it, and then still save money. The first time might take you a little bit long, but after that, you know what to do, and it's going to be a lot easier your second time, your third time, your fourth time, and then you just keep doing it, and then it lasts longer because you're buying better oil, and then this saves you money. What about cutting the lawn? If you have a mower and a gallon of gas, assuming you're mowing like a normal sized lawn, that would take you about 30 minutes. Instead of paying a company to come and do it, you can do it yourself for within 30 minutes. There's so many things you can learn to do yourself, which also helps you learn new skills and save money, which are just useful throughout your life if you keep accumulating new skills. Now, there will be a point in your career where it makes more sense to pay someone, like if you worked an hour overtime and made like $80, and you can pay the neighborhood kid to mow your lawn for like $30. That makes more sense. Why not work the hour of overtime, keep 50, pay 30? It financially make more sense to work the extra hour to pay that kid instead of mowing the lawn. But there are two main questions. Are you at that point yet to do that? And what if you like cutting the lawn? Now, remember in the beginning of the video when I said $100,000 could easily turn into $1 million without any real effort? If we check out this savings calculator and look at an average 10% return per year with $100,000 starting out, we can see it takes a little over 23 years to turn that into $1 million with the power of compound interest. Not any fancy investing strategy, just buying S&P 500 and holding for 23 years. So remember this as we go through the list. You're not just saving money to save money. You're saving money to invest in your financial freedom. And all it really takes is some time and consistency. That's all it really takes. Also, if you're enjoying the video, please like and leave a comment on what you have given up spending money on and how you like to invest that instead. Let's get back to the video. Number 6 is new personal technology. I got a Pixel 6a with a cracked screen protector. It still works great, takes solid pictures. It's easy to use for all my needs, and it cost me like $250, right? Do you really need that fancy phone plan for what? To scroll on Instagram? To watch TikTok? To watch me on YouTube? You need to buy a $1,500 phone to do all that? Do you need to spend over $1,000 to watch social media? Probably not. You don't need the latest iPhone to do that. You don't need the latest release to do the exact same job as the previous versions of these phones. You don't need another fancy smartphone to do the same things you do with your phone you have in your hand right now. Stop being a little consumer. You don't need fancy electronics. They don't add anything to your life. If you aren't actually going to utilize the power of that electronic, why are you buying it? I have a crappy work laptop I use, and it's only good for connecting to the internet and typing Word documents. But that's all I need. That's what I need for a simple work laptop. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine because it's all I need. Now, I used to use this for editing videos, which took a long time because it was so slow, which is why I bought this one. I bought a powerful laptop. It was a lot of money, but it had intention behind it. There was an intention. I needed something stronger to edit videos quicker, and that's why I got this one. So have intention with your purchases, which leads me to point number 7. Unintentional purchases or impulse purchases. These are things I avoid now. This is why they say don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry, because when you do, everything looks like a need when all you need is just like a simple sandwich to fill your stomach before you go shopping. So it's important to be aware of what you actually need, which is most likely not much, but we're just trapped in a society that focuses so much on our wants. So be intentional with your shopping list. If you need clothes, what do you need? 3 plain t-shirts, 2 shorts, and a pair of jeans. Not whatever I like and I disregard a budget. Have a plan and make sure you stick to that. Uninstall any shopping apps on your phone so you're not tempted to look through Temu and Amazon and whatever and just find any items that seem appealing. Then you buy and then you use them 3 times, then you forget about them and they're stuck in a random closet. Be intentional with the things you actually need and notice your wants. Number 8, and I think this is going to be an unpopular one, is video games. But it's not only the money piece when purchasing games. And even now in games, there's a million things you could buy. You can buy skins, expansion packs, DLCs, whatever. They're all just money sucks for really nothing. But the time piece is also huge. What else could you learn by the time you put in a game? The thousands of hours you have on Steam if you actually checked out your library. How much time did you spend collecting meaningless items in games when you could have spent time collecting meaningless money that only has value because we all agree on it? I guess when I verbalize that, it doesn't sound much better. But what else could you have done instead of collecting meaningless items or meaningless money? You could have learned other skills. You could have built skills instead of overindulging in a game that sucks away your money and your time. At least we all agree that money is still valuable at this point, which is why I hold a little Bitcoin, and you should too. Number 9 is car leases or new cars. I bought my car in 2020 for $8K, the beautiful box that is a Honda Element. 3 years and it's strong so far and will realistically last me another 3 years, hopefully, maybe another 5 with no real issues if I'm lucky. But for example, let's say this car lasts me 6 years with no real issues. That's 72 months of ownership for 8 grand, which equals $111 per month for a conservative estimate. Good luck finding a lease that cheap for 6 years. And even if you didn't lease and bought a new car instead, a new car typically loses 15 to 20% of its value within the first year. So that's a lot of money lost in that short time period. So even a new car isn't the financial move, but a sensible used car with no payments and a lower depreciation value per year is sensible. Now, I do not live in an area that you can function without a car, unfortunately, but maybe you do. So maybe even consider, why do I have a car? Do I really need it? Can I ride my bike around? Can I get an electric bicycle instead and go everywhere I need to go or use public transportation? If I want to take a road trip, does renting a car make more sense? I can rent one for like $70 a day. Just some things to think about instead of maybe, do I need to own a car? That could be a big question. And lastly, number 10 is crappy products. Oftentimes with buying products, we don't consider the price of replacing them. It's like with me and drill bits. Sometimes I can get away with crappy tools or bits, but then they end up burning out. I break the bit and it gets burnt out faster than I have to keep replacing them. Why not just buy something quality and stop replacing it with a bad product and keep it for longer? What if I bought quality products instead of spending a ton of money on things over and over and over again and just having one larger payment in the beginning? Sure, I have to pay more upfront for the quality, but in the long run, I'm buying them less often and the quality items last longer. So what items do you buy that maybe you should just spend a little bit more money on instead of purchasing crappy products over and over and over again? And these are my 10 things, guys, that I avoid spending money on now. Please comment down below, what do you need to spend less money on? Because if you focus on spending less and don't mind looking poor, you can become a millionaire much, much, much easier, as I showed in this video right here. Peace.